Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we have a video that when I saw it, I just couldn't even believe the things that I was hearing. This is an absolute trigger warning. If you have any type of PTSD or you cannot listen to sensitive topics talking about abuse or different kind of acts that are heinous, then I encourage you to not finish this video. This case is on Law and Crime. I watch Law and Crime all the time. Like, I love to, for some reason, just dissect the criminal mind. It is very fascinating to me. I truly believe people like this are completely disconnected from the God presence within them. They have no light. They are only darkness. And I don't know what it is. It's just interesting to see how they walk amongst this earth and cause so much trauma to everyone that they come across. But this case was absolutely crazy, y'all. And I want more people to see this. We need to watch this together because you won't even believe what this man's profession was. Let's just get right into it.
Hi, Detective Wilson, come right on over here. Put your hands behind your back right here.
Newly released body cam video of an arrest of a doctor whose sick crimes are no longer a secret.
The defendant recorded her while using the bathroom. He assaulted her while she was asleep in her own bed in her own home, and then he kept trophies.
This story is hard to fathom as you look at video from the doctor's sentencing per WXYZ. Some victims in this case are adults. Some are as young as toddlers.
Stop looking at the ground, you coward.
What one of the victims said to that doctor's face in court and how he responded. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
Did y'all hear that? He's a doctor. When you hear the crimes, y'all, I couldn't even. So we're gonna end up finishing this video together because I didn't even finish the video because I was like, oh, this is a lot. But maybe watching it with y'all will help me get through it because I just need to know what happened. Like the fact that this is a doctor, that is one of the most trusted professions there is in this world. Like people trust you with their whole lives, unconscious and consciously. So for you to take that sacred position and to use it against people's will and against people's consent is absolutely it just really shows you the wickedness that can be in the hearts of man. And when I say in the hearts of man, I don't just mean men. I just mean human beings as a whole. When we get so far away from the light and we indulge in too much darkness, too much just things that make our flesh feel good, this is what it leads to. This is what it leads to. All right, let's keep going.
I'll be honest with you, I needed to take a break after reading through the 279-page case file in connection to a sick doctor out of Michigan. A break not just because it was a lot of reading, but because this story is just so sick. This is a man who recorded children as they changed, and he sexually abused unconscious patients at a hospital. This is body cam video that we just received out of Oakland County, Michigan, of police approaching the home of Dr. Oumair Aejaz. Now you can see this is a really nice house, has a basketball hoop outside, and officers see a child in the driveway.
And this just makes me think about when I just had my hip replacement, although I'm not saying that that doctor was anything like this, but how many of us have trusted doctors? We don't know what happened in those surgery rooms. We don't know what happened after we became unconscious, how well they took care of our bodies, how much respect they showed us, how much dignity they allowed us to have. Like, this is just crazy. And it's always, and I won't say it's always, but it be them people. Look at this house. Look at this little cookie cutter life that he's made. And he probably got a child. He got a child. He got a wife. Like, and still out there doing this stuff. You just never know. You cannot judge a book by its cover at all.
Have redacted that child and what the child says back to the officers.
Hello? Policemen are here.
Now, in a moment, that child's dad will come out. Frankly, he is a monster who will be taken from this home. Now, bear with us as we go through this because there are moments where the audio and video have been taken out. This is a heavily redacted piece of video. And when I explain the details of this story, and I will warn you they are graphic, you will understand why police are being so delicate.
Hello, how you doing, sir? Step right over here for me, will you? Hi. Detective Wilson, come right on over here. Put your hands behind your back right here. Okay. We're here for a case that involves you. And so we're going to take you where we need to go to resolve it, okay?
That is Dr. Oumair Aejaz, and he is also a husband.
Do y'all hear the police officer? He don't even know what to say. He don't even know how to say it, because I assume that the child is still probably standing right there behind him, but he don't even know what to say to this man. That's just how bad it is, y'all. How often are cops left speechless? Okay, all the things that they see on a daily basis, that's not very often.
And a father to 2 young boys. Police take him into custody after they say his wife came to them after discovering disturbing material. Now, here is what police say they found when they did a search warrant on several electronic devices in the doctor's home. This is per WDIV.
I know I heard that correctly. Shout out to his wife. She turned him in. Okay, because baby, she said I didn't sign up for that. I didn't sign up for that. I don't have, matter of fact, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Okay, I know that's right, girl.
The allegations were that he was engaged in activity, including but not limited to placing hidden cameras in changing rooms, video recording young children as young as 2 years of age, and all the way up to grown adults in different settings. The current criminal charges, which the prosecutor will speak to, are primarily from activities conducted in Rochester and Rochester Hills when he was off duty, where he appears to utilize cameras that were deployed separate from himself and then also on his person. They were used in changing rooms, bathrooms, hospital rooms, as well as inside closets, bathrooms, and bedrooms of residents that he had access to. We believe the criminal activity has been going back at least 6 years, but this is, and I can't stress this enough, so much the tip of the iceberg.
Now, again, I went through the nearly 300-page case report on this, and there are so many details that are just so graphic, I can't say them here. Police allege that this doctor secretly taped conscious and even unconscious female patients at places where he worked. And even worse, they say he videotaped himself sexually assaulting unconscious female patients. Police say a search warrant uncovered 6 computers, 4 cell phones, and 15 hard drives.
15 hard drives, is that like, he's like a serial rapist, right? That's a serial rapist. That's not even one time, 2 time. He needs to be put away for life. This doesn't make any sense. Like, I can't even imagine. So now that all of these victims was unaware, they got to make them aware, right? They got to make the victims aware of what happened to them. And so many of these women don't even know that it happened to them. Like, that's crazy to be unconscious and something like that happens to you. You're trusting your doctor and they're doing it. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This, oh my gosh. And so that's why I say, like, people who do this, that your heart has to be completely enveloped in darkness. I don't want to hear no mental health excuse. He bet not do no mental health, no nothing. These were all very conscious, deliberate things that he did. Like, the fact that you had cameras in so many places meant that you were a manipulative narcissist. You tricked people into believing that you were a trustworthy person, And you set these cameras up intentionally with forethought. You thought about this for a long time, probably, and you made sure that you were a successful enough person that you will have access to so many people because you've probably been sick since you were a child. I truly, truly believe that people who act like this, you can see these type of tendencies in them when they're young, and that is up to the parents and the communities to be paying attention to. But I'm not gonna say he don't look like he from America because I know America is like a melting pot. But sir, what do you have going on? That is just so crazy to me.
On top of that, just one of those hard drives reportedly contained more than 13,000 videos. Now, at the time of the doctor's arrest, investigators said it could take them months to review all the evidence they seized.
It's not just children. It's not just women. It's not just men. It goes from a 2-year-old to a grown woman. And so the victimization is so broad and the perversion so great that we're just beginning to wrap our arms around it. And disturbing on so many levels.
Dang, he didn't hold back on nobody, children, men, and women. I've never heard. Please put in the comments, have y'all ever heard of any case like this in history? I've never heard of it. When I heard this, I say this sounds like the worst case I've ever heard in the history of America. Like, is there anyone who's been worse than him, who's hurt as many people as him? 15 hard drives, and one hard drive had over 13,000 videos. How does that even work? So what do the other 14 hard drives have? 10 to 13,000 more video? Oh my gosh, spanning over how many years? This is like, I don't understand why this is not like more bigger than what it is, because this is one of the worst. They need to put this on CNN or whatever the news is in America. I'm not in America, so I don't know if this is on the news, but it needs to be on the news and people need to be made aware of this. Doctors like this need to be held accountable because this is not okay, right? This is not okay. Have y'all ever heard of anything like this happening before?
That it's hard to look at the videos of that activity where a woman is basically unconscious in a hospital bed and he's violating her, to a 2-year-old thinking they're out for a great swim day and they're being captured naked. There's nobody that's out of bounds for this sick activity.
Police say they discovered a video from a changing room at a children's swim school. As investigators reviewed the seized files, they found a folder that was labeled Swim, and that folder contained a subfolder that was titled Swim Cut. And inside that folder, they say there were dozens of videos showing children changing inside the facility. Police claim the doctor would go into a stall in the changing room and then, quote, look over or beneath the wall into an adjacent stall and videotape or photograph the women and children. Now, I want you to imagine this moment if it was you, if it was your children, because police say when they told victims what happened and that they had videos of these victims, they felt disgusted, they felt shocked, and as you can imagine, they felt incredibly violated. One woman, according to the case file, quote, she had no idea she had ever been videotaped by anyone, was uncertain when this may have happened, and she would never consent to such activity. And you will hear from the mother of a child who is videotaped in just a moment, and she does not hold back in the final moments before this doctor is taken away, potentially for the rest of his life. Now, initially, the doctor was held on 10 charges, but that was just the beginning.
For the video that you mentioned of the woman unconscious in her hospital bed, was he there as a doctor or somebody visiting, or are you not sure at this point?
There's not just one. There's not just one.
Yeah, she was mentioned that there's more than one.
Oh, more
unfortunately, a woman that appears to be in that situation, whether that was an individual he had been charged with any kind of medical care of, or he just accessed that room on his own. or if he went there on his own time because he had credentials. All of that's part of the investigation.
The doctor was arrested in August of 2024, and at that time, police said that they believed that his criminal activity went back roughly 6 years. In December of 2025, he was sentenced after he pleaded no contest to 30.
So this happened years ago. And we just finding out about this in 2026. And I know that this type of stuff be delayed, but this is such a heinous act, y'all. I really think that as soon as it happened, this should have been like national news. This is absolutely crazy. This should have every doctor on their toes, making sure that they're doing the right thing. This should have people making sure that they are maybe bringing in family. I don't know, during these moments where you have to be unconscious around these people. I'm not saying don't trust your doctor, because you might have a good, well-to-do doctor. But I'm saying that the fact that this is a possibility and we just finding out about it 2 years later is absolutely crazy. What do they be trying to hide stuff like this? Like, this is terrible. Y'all gave this man a doctorate degree and allowed him to practice as a doctor for 6 years and have no idea that he was not a serial killer, but like a serial rapist to all types of demographics. This is like, I promise you, America ain't gonna never be able to walk this one down. Sounds like one of the worst, one of the worst. It needs to be up there in like the top 5 of the worst criminals in America. What do y'all think?
31 counts of sexual misconduct. And at his sentencing, the mom of a young boy who he recorded at that swim school faced him, and she had this to say. This is per Detroit TV station WXYZ.
MLF underscore CLD underscore SWM underscore VID. MILF, meaning mother, I'd like to child. CLD, meaning child, as in my then 2-year-old son. SWM, as in we were in a changing room at Goldfish Swim School after my son's swim class. VID, meaning not just a picture, but a whole video that this waste of space on Earth kept categorized on his hard drives to go back and watch as many times as he wanted. Well, he off and got from watching.
Okay, if y'all want to watch this full testimony, or I don't really know what this is, like a victim statement, I think. If y'all want to watch this whole thing, please go to the Law and Crime YouTube channel and watch it, because I will say that this is like very lengthy. She goes on for like 10 or 15 minutes. And I'm not saying that all her words are not justified. I'm not saying that her anger is misplaced. Everything is absolutely correct. But for the sake of my reaction video, I'm not going to react off of her victim statement. But if you all want to hear it, definitely go to Law and Crime and check it out. But it's very heart-wrenching. And I can say that his entire reaction as she was saying those words, I want to say he seemed like he was like disassociating. The fact that he pled no contest shows that he's not going to admit his guilt, but he's not willing to fight it either, because then that would mean he will have to take people to trial. And then that would mean a lot of victim statements, not just this one. And I don't think that that will hold well against a jury. And he would probably definitely get a way worse sentence. We're going to see what sentence he got for this. I'm not sure what sentence he got for pleading no contest to 31 counts of sexual assault. But I would hope that it's like 15 life sentences, because what else should it be when you take away people's ability to consent to you doing something to their bodies? Like, thousands of times, not just one time. He did it thousands of times over the course of almost 10 years. That is absolutely scary to think about. But yeah, like he just stands there the whole time, like just eyes staring down like he a zombie or something, like he disassociated. But sir, you did this, and now you're gonna have to pay the price for this. It was you who did it. It was not nobody else who did that. And people like this, they try to, I don't know what be going through their minds. I think that's what attracts me so much to watch like videos like this, because I just be trying to figure out like what it is. Because I know personally, I can barely kill a fly. Okay, I can't hurt nothing too big, especially when I start to feel the light, the God presence within them. I can't hurt nothing. I can do self defense, but outside of that, I just do not be understanding people who hurt people intentionally. Like you plan to hurt someone, like you want to hurt someone, like it's your desire to take advantage of people and to hurt people. Your brain works differently. Yes, no, your spirit is no longer aligned with the light and the love that is within everybody else, right? Like something about you is very, very different. And I think I've always been interested in being able to tell what those things are, because I don't ever want to encounter somebody like this. I don't ever want to encounter somebody like this. I don't ever want to be in the same room with a person like this. And when I've watched these videos and I've looked at interrogations, I can think back to certain times where I think I have encountered people like this. And I am so happy that it was other people around me. But like, how often do you think, and I am not trying to make you paranoid, you don't have anything to fear, believe that you are safe. But I'm just saying, like, how often do you think that you've been in the same room as somebody like this and didn't know it? Because you can't judge a book by its cover. Like, how would you know? How would they know? No, it's not funny, but let's get to this next part.
Single one of us for the rest of our lives. He deserves to feel that pain every single day while he rots in prison until the day that he dies.
Now you can see the doctor who prosecutors say preyed on his victims and violated their rights in such a deeply and disturbing way just stood there. He looked down, couldn't even look his victims in the eyes as they addressed him in court. And on top of that, he didn't have the guts to say anything in court either. He just quietly stared down and declined when the judge gave him the opportunity to speak. This is what prosecutors had requested.
Counts 1 and 12 in that case carry a mandatory minimum sentence of 25 years each. And as we noted in the People's sentencing memo, counts 1 through 4 and counts 12 through 15 are eligible for consecutive sentencing at the court's discretion. Now, we are asking the court to abide by its Cobb's agreement with the defense to abstain from consecutive sentencing.
They want them to abstain from consecutive sentencing. I don't really know what consecutive sentencing is, but we're gonna see what the judge say, and then I'm gonna see what that means legally, because I just know that this man better have got like at least 5 life sentences. How do you get charged with 31 sex crimes and you don't get at least, out of the 31 crimes, is none of them life sentences? You should be in jail. You should be able to die in jail 5 times. And every time you come back, you should still be locked up. But let's see what actually happened.
In that case as well. However, this is not a case in which a minimum of any kind would be appropriate. The defendant's conduct was not minimal by any measure. And although this case, the FC case, involved just a single identified victim, she was a child, 7 years old, and the defendant's acts against her were repetitive and obsessive in their nature. The defendant recorded her while using the bathroom. He assaulted her while she was asleep in her own bed, in her own home, and then he kept trophies by recording those acts. The defendant is an abuser and a predator. Again, he assaulted a child just 7 years of age in her own home while she was asleep, and he did this multiple times while he was a guest and a trusted adult in her life. And then he kept trophies of his abuse by recording the acts on video. So he's not only a predator, but he's a thief, because he's stolen these people's innocence, their privacy, and obviously their peace of mind. His conduct is far beyond the factors taken into account by both statutory language and by the sentencing guidelines. And his conduct across Oakland County and beyond is so severe and so indicative of almost a pathological need to record and abuse defenseless people that a sentence above the minimum is not only appropriate but necessary. As we stated in the People's Sentencing Memorandum, justice requires a higher sentence.
Now, this is what the judge had to say to this disturbing and sick human being who is a doctor.
I do want to indicate to you that this has been one of the more deplorable cases that I've had before me.
The one thing that I did learn was that if there's no jury, if a case doesn't go to trial and the person pleads no contest, then that means that the judge gets to fully decide what happens to this person. So she better not make me have to look up her name because Miss Ma'am, it is completely up to you that this man never ever can hurt anyone ever again. But let's see, judges these days, the judicial system as a whole, I'm a black woman, so I've seen it not work many times. And I would like to have faith that they're going to do the right thing in this situation. But for some reason, like whenever it comes to crimes, especially crimes against children or women, it just don't seem like you get the proper amount of time. Like I had saw that, like, I think assaulting a woman, like rape or like sexual assault, you can get as little as 2 years for that or 5 years. And it's like, a person who do something aggressive like that, do you really think that in 2 to 5 years they're going to have changed? And I'm not saying that rehabilitation doesn't happen in jail, but that's not what American prisons are designed for. It's not like this is like the Netherlands or something, or Norway or wherever they have those really nice prisons where they help the people actually reform themselves. No, this is like the jungle. You throw these people into a cage and you treat them like an animal, and then you release them and you think, oh, they're no longer animals. What? It's like taking a lion out the zoo and thinking that lion not finna still act like a lion. Why? Because it been in a cage? You think it don't know it's a lion? Is y'all look, I'm just saying, like, I really just hope that this judge does the right thing and that she has a good heart within her to give the maximum sentences. But let's see.
The extent of your conduct, your criminal conduct, is just beyond words. I agree with everything that has been said by the victims and by the prosecution. You are a predator, you are a narcissist, and you are a sadist. That is quite clear just reading this report. And I didn't even have the benefit of actually viewing the videos. So,
See, everything that she said up until when she said she didn't have the benefit of viewing that stuff. Whenever I had heard her say that, I was like, what do you mean you didn't have the benefit of viewing those videos? Where would you have gotten a benefit from viewing those videos? Do you mean the great displeasure? Because that's what you should say. That's a common thing to say. Like, if you have to experience something like that's not comfortable, you'll be like, this is a displeasure. She said benefit. And that really, that's like one of those Freudian slips. Like, I know she's saying that he heinous and all of that stuff and all the narcissists and all these things. She better give him the maximum. Let me just be quiet. Let me see.
I can't comprehend how someone, a medical doctor, would do the things that you have done. And I can certainly understand the victim's situation in that they don't know who to trust anymore. If you can't trust someone who is supposed to be a helper, who can you trust? And what is even more disgusting in this case, sir, is that you did this with your own family. You did this with your own family. The child that you have been convicted of abusing was your brother's daughter. How low can anyone go? Not to mention patience. It's incomprehensible to me that there is a human being that could stoop to this level of conduct, sir. And you are not deserving of any title or any recognition. Hurt so many people. And all I can do is put you in prison, sir. And I wish I could do more, but I can't.
Hello, she kind of cold for that last line. She said, all I could do is put you in prison. I wish I could do more, but I can't. Hey, that's kind of cold. That's giving me faith that she might do the right thing. Let's see.
All right, then. As it relates to the case ending in 2876FH. One count of child sexually abusive activity. This court is sentencing you to 12 to 20 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections. With respect to count 2, computers using to commit a crime, this court is sentencing you to 12 to 20 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention 481 days of credit on both of those charges. With respect to count 3, capturing, distributing an image of unclothed person, this court is sentencing you to 3 to 5 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 481 days of credit. With respect to count 4, computers using to commit a crime, this court is sentencing you to 4 to 7 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 481 days of credit. With respect to count 5, capturing, distributing an image of unclothed person, this court is sentencing you to 3 to 5 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 481 days of credit. With respect to count 6, computers using to commit a crime, this court is sentencing you to 4 to 7 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 481 days of credit. With respect to count 7, capturing, distributing an image of unclothed person, this court is sentencing you to 3 to 5 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 481 days of credit. With respect to count 8, computers using to commit a crime, this court is sentencing you to 4 to 7 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 481 days of credit. With respect to count 9, capturing, distributing an image of unclothed person, this court is sentencing you to 3 to 5 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 481 days of credit. With respect...
Now, you get 3 to 5 years for capturing somebody without their clothes on. But conspiracy to use a computer incorrectly is 4 to 7 years. Y'all see, this system in America is the reason why. No, it's not the reason why. The reason why he did what he did is because he's full of darkness. But it is one of the motivators, I believe, that allow for criminals to think that, oh, what's the worst that can happen to me? You know, they don't, matter of fact, they don't even think of the consequences because the consequences are so minuscule compared to the abundance of crime they'll be able to commit. 3 to 5 years if I catch you naked on my camera and keep the video, but 4 to 7 years if I use my computer incorrectly. Don't piss me off. Not that you could piss me off, but like, just don't even try. Like, what are you doing, Miss Lady? She finna already. And what I don't understand, see, I'm gonna have to look this up because I'm wondering if somebody who watching this video also doesn't understand. But when she say 12 to 20, 3 to 5, 4 to 7, are you saying that he could serve as little as the 12 or the 3 or the 4 and not the maximum? Why are we not maxing this man out? What, ma'am? What's her name? She gonna make me find out who she is.
Respect to count 10, computers using to commit a crime. This court is sentencing you to 4 to 7 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 481 days of jail credit. With respect to count 11, capturing, distributing image of unclothed person, this court is sentencing you to 3 to 5 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 481 days of credit. With respect to count 12, computers using to commit a crime, this court is sentencing you to 4 to 7 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 481 days of credit. With respect to count 13, capturing, distributing image of unclothed person, this court is sentencing you to 3 to 5 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 481 days of credit. With respect to count 14, computers using to commit a crime, this court is sentencing you to 4 to 7 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 481 days of credit.
If you're a native or fluent English speaker currently travelling in Asia and you're looking for a new online career that enables you to earn remotely.
Not there's so many crimes that she gotta take a sip of water or tea or whatever she's drinking just so she can finish the list of crimes. Y'all, we on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 4. We on 14 going on 15 now. We got 15 more to go. Let's go.
With respect to case ending in 287, case ending in 3405 FC, one count of criminal sexual conduct in the first degree, this court is sentencing you to 35 to 60 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 2, criminal sexual conduct in the second degree, this court is sentencing you to 10 to 15 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 3, child sexually abusive activity, aggravated, this court is sentencing you to 10 to 25 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 4, computers using to commit a crime, this court is sentencing you to 10 to 20 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 5, capturing, distributing image of unclothed person, that this court is sentencing you to 3 to 5 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 6, computers using to commit a crime, this court is sentencing you to 4 to 7 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 7, capturing, distributing image of unclothed person, this court is sentencing you to 3 to 5 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 8, computers using to commit a crime, this court is sentencing you to 4 to 7 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 9, criminal sexual conduct in the second degree, this court is sentencing you to 10 to 15 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 10, child sexually abusive activity, aggravated, this court is sentencing you to 10 to 25 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 11, computers using to commit
Aggravated assault of a child sexually is only 10 to 25 years. I hope aggravated assault of a child is only 10 to 25 years. See, I'm learning something with this. I'm learning something with this case. I'm just really is just confirming everything that I already believe about this justice system. Like, why wouldn't that be life in prison? I know 25 years, I think is considered life, but where are we getting 10 from? Why in the world is there such a huge gap? 10 to 25 years for aggravated that means aggressively assaulting a child. Let me stop. Let's just keep.
A crime. This court is sentencing you to 10 to 20 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 12, criminal sexual conduct in the first degree, this court is sentencing you to 35 to 60 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 13, criminal sexual conduct in the second degree, this court is sentencing you to 10 to 15 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 14, child sexually abusive activity aggravated, this court is sentencing you to 10 to 25 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 15, computers using to commit a crime, this court is sentencing you to 10 to 25 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 16, capturing, distributing image of unclothed person, this court is sentencing you to 3 to 5 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of credit. With respect to count 17, computers using to commit a crime, this court is sentencing you to 4 to 7 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections with 419 days of jail credit. All counts in case ending in 2876FH are concurrent to each other. All counts in case ending in 3405FC are concurrent to each other, and each docket is concurrent to one another. You are to pay state costs of $952 in case ending in 2876FH and $1,156 in case ending in 340FC. And you are to pay the Crime Victims' Rights Fund $130 on each case. And the court has gone above the guidelines because the court feels that this individual is a predator beyond all belief, and this court feels that he would never amend his ways even after serving time with the Michigan Department of Corrections.
At the time of his sentencing, the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office said the investigation remains ongoing into other possible assaults that this doctor could be responsible for, and more charges are possible in other jurisdictions.
That was a difficult one, y'all. But what we about to do right now is look up what the heck concurrent is. Because I just want to know, like, maybe that judge did the best she could, because she really was saying that. She was like, she did the maximum. But like, it doesn't seem like the maximum is enough for a situation like this. So I need to figure out what concurrent is. So I'm gonna pull that up right now. We're gonna check it out together. Okay, so here we go, y'all. Concurrent sentencing means a defendant serves the time for multiple criminal convictions simultaneously rather than one after the other. For example, if a person receives two separate 10-year sentences running concurrently, they serve both of them at the same time and are released after 10 years. What? So he got multiple sentences with only two of them being 60 years at the max, but the least is 35. So does that mean he only has to serve 35 years at the minimum? Okay. So in December 2025, Dr. Oumair Aejaz, a former Michigan physician, that's him, was sentenced to 35 to 60 years in prison for 31 counts. Okay, so those were all the counts that we just went through. He pleaded no contest. So he get 35 to 60 years, which is a life sentence, but he should have multiple life sentences. I'm not understanding. He's a serial rapist. I'm not understanding what's going on right now. Like, I don't understand what's going on. Like a serial sexually abusive person. I don't know. He's a serial something, right? So in Michigan, the minimum term dictates parole eligibility, while the maximum is the absolute time that they can serve. Rather than adding the maximum possible time for each separate offense into hundreds of years, Aejaz serves all the individual sentences at the same time. He should have got hundreds of years. I could have sworn prosecution asked for the sentences not to be done concurrently. Why would she still do them concurrently when she didn't have to? So he could get out in 35 years. And I think he's only like, I don't know how old he is, but he looks like he's only in his 30s. So he'll still be young enough, because 60 something is young enough for a man, baby. They still kicking at 60 something. What? He could get parole as early as being what, like 60 something? Let me ask AI. He would be 76 years old when he is first eligible. There are no good time reductions in Michigan, so it doesn't matter how good he is in prison. He's gonna have to serve at least the 35 years. Okay, but I would just hope that they would not allow for him to be eligible for parole when he's even 76. I don't care. They should, yeah. He can be held until his maximum sentence is reached at 60 years. In that scenario, he would be 101 years old upon release. Now, that sounds better to me. I think 101 years old would be long enough for him then, and then he'll have learned his lesson. So, what do y'all think about people like this? People who commit crimes like this, what do you think about basically like where their spirits are? Like, do you still think that they're connected to any type of good? Like, when he's 76 years old and he's able to come up for parole, do you think that he should be able to be considered for parole? Can a person like this change? I don't know. When I think about the love that is within us, the spark that created creation, and the light, I wonder how much can it change a person, or if some people just need to try again. They just need to exit this life and just try again, serve their time here, and just come back in reincarnation and maybe give it another go, because they made so many bad decisions that there is no way possible to cleanse them of the darkness. I'm not sure, you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video.